Seven Beans is a third place for a lot of youth today. It is named after the historic act of Baba Budhan Gur in 1696. It is a great place for some amazing coffee, cool ambience and endless conversations. This coffee chain has spread its wing across the Karnataka state and further planning to expand itself across the nation. Come, let's visit this great place and meet its co-founder Gaurav Shah.
Hi, I'm Gaurav Shah, CEO of Seven Beans. Here's a look at my journey so far. It's been 4 years now, right? So when I started off, I was still in college. I was still pursuing my education, and it's just 2 years ago since I left my education, completed my education rather. So as I've been saying, the highs are phenomenally high. I mean, if you're doing well, you're doing great, and the lows are staggeringly low. So for me, in a gist, it's been like a roller coaster. It's been a yo-yo ride so far. When I say the highs are highs, is that every time you get covered in like media, you get one fine day you get covered in Economic Times, you have new outlets opening up, you have new people joining you, and you get the tremendous recognition that you get by doing a business, right? So those are the highs. That's when you're feeling like you're on top of the world and everything's working out for you. But the lows are also staggeringly low. Or getting worried about how we're going to pay our suppliers, that's the kind of low, and that's when you're really low, you're on your own. I still remember one of the lowest point when I felt was I got a call one fine day in the morning and someone just joked with me saying that, hey, you know what, your place is on fire, man, where are you? And I was like, come on, you got to be kidding me. But I still didn't want to take a chance, and I just went to my outlet, and to my horror, the place was actually on fire, right? And I just I didn't even feel like going there because there were so many people trying to douse it, and there was people running with water everywhere, and that was like the lowest moment of my life. I mean, I really felt like everything that I've done is it's been pulled down, right? And so those are the kind of moments when you feel really low. So that's what I've been saying. It's like a yo-yo, it's like a roller coaster. So the seed for Seven Beans was it was born in our college days, right? So what used to happen was the college used to get over at 1:30, right? And the only place we could hang out was with our friends was at the parking lot. We were not the kind of kids who used to rush home, basically. And we realized, why aren't there places where we can just go and sit for many hours together? Why aren't there more community places, basically? And that's when we realized, the lack of community places in India. And what if we can create third places? The first place being your home, second place being your college or your office, and third place being a place where you can go and spend some time together, right? And that's where the basic idea was there in our mind. If there's a need for community space, because that's the problem that I was facing in my college days. That idea was there in our mind for quite some time, and then we went our separate ways, me and my college friends. And then whilst I was working in Bangalore, right, one fine day I just called up my friend. I said, do you remember what we were discussing in college? And he said yes. I was like, why don't we give it a shot, right? And that's how we decided to kind of do Seven Beans. That's just the way we got the idea, me and my business partner. And then we thought about, all right, look, we want to build community places. We want to build places where people can spend a lot of time together, and put up big couches and create amazing experiences basically for people who walk in. How do we monetize this then, right? And we felt that the thing that goes best with conversations is coffee, and that's how we decided to monetize all of these entire operations by coffee and by food and all of that. So that's how the gist of the idea came about, and that's how the outlet is made. That's how the service is rendered to our customers. It's a place where time can wait, and we essentially realized that we are in the conversation business, or all of that is kind of being served by coffee. So that's how the idea came about. When we first started off, we realized that we underestimated how much money we would be needing, honestly. We thought we can get this thing started by a couple of lakhs, and then we realized that just a coffee machine costs a couple of lakhs. So that was a big wake up call for us. So the initial funds, we took out some debt, we really started to innovate in terms of the way we wanted to build our place up, the way we were using our furniture. We visited a lot of thrift stores across India, visited Mumbai, visited Chor Bazaar, and we got some great bargains, right, for a lot of things. When we first started off, we realized that cash was a big crunch for us. We took some debt off. I remember taking some debt on my LIC policy, and I didn't even have to ask anyone at my home. I just went ahead and took that. And I got some 2-3 lakh rupees from there, and the other things, we kept talking to people and said, we'll pay you later. We bought a lot of second-hand material, and we just started the place off. And then the cash flow, it kind of started being a virtuous cycle, right? The cash flow came in, and then we made more payments, and the cash flow came in, we made more payments, and that's how it works. That's an interesting question. Like I told you, right, we were bootstrapping from our early days, and we didn't really have a very big marketing budget to go from, but we still realized that we need to have phenomenal footsteps to take this business forward. So what we did was, we realized that we had to bank on very almost growth hack, as they say, and get these kind of footfalls to happen. So what we did was, we focused on 2 critical things. One was, we leveraged on the power of events, and 2 was marketing these events by social media. So what we did was, let me just give you a simple example, right? We started doing battles of the bands to start off with. So we'd have all the local colleges participate in that, and then we'd market that extensively on social media. We'd create events and everything. What happened was, when these bands walked in, along with them 200-300 people walked in with the bands, right? And when they first walked in the place, they were really taken aback, because we had created it very beautifully and all that. So to get different age group, to get different demographics to walk in, we had very finely targeted events that were similar to that nature. So let's say, we wanted to attract the middle age 25 to 50 kind of a woman to walk into our stores. So we created flea markets, which was like a shopping experience, right? So we gave out a lot of stalls to people who make these products at their places, and then they told their friends, and then we got a different demographic to walk in. So that way we've been trying to target different demographics by targeted events, and then these events are marketed through social media and so on and so forth. So the fact that we didn't have money to start off with was kind of advantageous to us in that way, that we did a lot of these activities, and we keep doing that as we go forward. Also, for all our new properties, we have specific targeted events that we do to increase footfalls at our place, to create a buzz in the market about what we are doing. So that's one of our strategies that really works for us. Failing is a part of everything we do, and anyone who's starting off, if they're not okay with that, they're going to go through a very bumpy ride. The number one reason why I feel most businesses fail is because they underestimate how much money they need, and that's something that I've learned the hard way. So we, time and time again went to a lot of cash flow crises. We really underestimated how much money would be needed to set up our business, and then we were halfway through it and kind of stuck at a lot of times, right? Second is that we really felt that we could do everything on our own, and as we started to expand, right, we were just on our own. So it literally at times felt like too little butter over too much bread. So we were expanding geographically at outlets that were 500-600 kilometers away from here. We put up a factory, we started multiple outlets, we started constructing new outlets. For us, that was a big learning, that we cannot pull this on our own, and we need like-minded people to walk in with us. We've got on board people who would kind of help us out with various domain of our business. We got industry specific experts, we got a CFO, we built a good team rather, that kind of helped us see this through. So these are a couple of learnings that we've had as we've gone forward. We definitely had some preconceived notions. We had some bubbles in our mind that definitely got burst, and a lot of these preconceived notions that we had were challenged. So some of these myths, of course, were that one, like I told you, we really thought we could do a lot of things on our own, and we learned as we went along that there are so many different aspects to it. It's always better to not wanting to reinvent the wheel, right? So we can back on the learnings that are there and make lesser mistakes, make fewer mistakes. Like we really thought, one of the myths was that we thought we could do everything on our own, and we learned from that. So we built a team, and that was one of the bubbles that got burst. Second was, of course, we thought about how we really thought that it would be a lot easier to raise money than it actually is, right? And that's what a lot of struggling entrepreneurs go through. It gets mind-numbingly difficult to raise money, right? And that kind of takes out 30 to 40% of your time. So that was definitely a myth that kind of got busted. Second is, third is that a lot of it is big picture things, right? And it's so easy to talk about big picture, so easy to talk about, let's say, 20 outlets and all, but just the mindset that is required is better to be safe than sorry, and better to be detail oriented. So just the small things that sometimes play a very critical role, like insurance, like being absolutely legally compliant with everything you're doing, having a phenomenal control system in place. These are some of the myths that definitely that we had when we started off from, and these definitely got covered. Another thing was that you have an intrinsic idea of what the customer wants, but if you really can somehow convince 4 to 5 customers to speak their mind out, it could be an amazing wake-up call of where you really stand, right? And that was definitely a myth that got busted. We thought that, okay, this is what people are looking for, let's keep giving this. But people were looking for something that was totally different. Definitely one of the myths that was that the bubble that kind of got busted. We really thought that we knew what our customers wanted, and we learned the hard way that they wanted something that was a lot more different. It's like a seesaw. So as I told you, sometimes you're doing well, so you're on top, and sometimes it's not so good, so you're on down. But I could go on and on, right? Like life of an entrepreneur, if you ask me, it's like akin to being on rough seas, and a thrill seeker would love that, would love the rough seas, would love the sight that it affords you. But someone who's not used to it would feel nauseated also. Your life is always on the edge, it's on the risk. But once you get the highs, once you experience those highs, you're addicted to that. So this is how I would describe entrepreneurship for me as I go forward. So that's how it's been for me. That's how I'm anticipating it will be as we go forward. I don't have any earth-shattering suggestions. These are, very cliched if you ask me, but something that always works, and it's very easy to kind of undermine them and forget about them as we get into the rigors of our life. Of course, I mean, if you ask me to boil it down to 3 aspects, I would say the first one is hard work. I mean, it's really, you can underestimate the number of hours that you'll have to put into your business. You have to be ready for 80 hours to 100-hour work weeks as you go forward. And everyone says, work hard, but it really, you have to put yourself on the line when it comes down to, entrepreneurship. That's the first aspect. The second is critical determination and grit, as I like to say. Grit is very important. It's very easy to leave midway, but you have to realize that you will achieve success after 3 to 4 years from when you start off with, because that's how long it takes. The proverbial 10,000 hours for you to understand about business, for you to understand about your industry, and for you to understand about your customer. So the third would be be customer obsessed. Every interaction that you have in your business, put the customer experience at the forefront, right? So be absolutely obsessed with your customer, and if you take care of your customers, everything else will fall into place, right? Sales solves everything. So yeah, it comes down to being getting ready for 80 to 100-hour work weeks. That's number one. Being absolutely determined and having a lot of grit. And third is ensuring that we put the customer experience at the forefront.